Good evening and salutations, my Days of Elias fans. I have been looking forward to doing these reviews, watching this show specifically for 2 weeks like everyone else. Now, GH, that's my show. I didn't grow up watching that show, I kind of grew up watching all my children. But my point is, and actually to tell you the truth, on a side note, I actually was watching One Life to Live. That was my starter show, but my point is that GH is my show. But GH has been slipping, and it's been slipping hard. And when it's good, when it's great, it's amazing. And when it drops, it sinks like a damn rock. As much as I love that show, it has structural problems. And when I was commenting on my review, because I always read the comments and stuff like that, and I reply to comments. And I was saying to this one woman, I was talking about GH and just how bloated the characters, like how many characters there are on the show, and it's just, there's so much characters on the show that not a lot of people get a lot of screen time. And one of the things I really like about Days is that it has less characters, but it tightens up the story and it gives you a better story, and it doesn't, you won't have characters missing for about 2 or 3 weeks and then act like we're supposed to care again. So I've been looking forward to this for a while. And today's episode, Sammy and EJ. EJ, this is another guy that can play like an amazing villain. I was like, man, Peter August, that was gonna be my villain, but this guy, EJ, he's definitely giving him a run for his money. This guy's on a totally different level. The conversation that they had was just great. Because Sammy, I was just like, Sammy, is there something broken inside of you? I mean, EJ flats out calls you an adulteress. Okay, he just flats out just says you've been cheating. So Sammy lies. Okay? And that was already just a bad start. I mean, it was a bad start a while ago, but it was already just a bad start. Just her lying. What are you talking about? Oh, did Nicole say this? She's just lying because of yada yada yada. You can't believe her. And, she goes into her excuses and everything like that. Like, no, she's lying. He's like, alright. He gets angry because watching this woman lie to his face is just nauseating. So she finally admits, yeah, I cheated on you when we were in distress, when Xander had a gun to our head, and, I felt like I was going to die, and, and I did it. She breaks down. The first time, I'm just thinking, okay, cool, she's going to tell the truth. No, she just tells about that one time, when her life was in danger, and she thought she was going to die, so, sex, because, why not? Oh, man. So she says that, and he's like, okay. And this was the only time that you, that you stepped out on me, right? Yes, it's the only, I can't even sit there and do it because I feel like I can't do that with a straight face, but the point is, she's like, yes, it's the only time I did it, and it happened, and I'm sorry, and we can move past this. EJ's like, we could have, until you just lied to me. Again. So, she lies and lies and lies. It's like Sammy just feels that if she lies enough, that he's going to believe her. So, after she lies some more, and he's just like, the look that he had on his face when he was like, we're going to try this one more time. I had to rewind that like 5 times because it was just that good. It was like, we're going to try this one more time. And she finally tells the truth. And then she's like, she goes into this whole, the reasons why she did it and blah, 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 blah. And I'm crying. And this whole act that she's doing is not that I don't believe it. I just don't care. She put herself in the situation, so it's hard for me to actually sympathize with her. It really is. And I always do believe that there's a better way than just straight up cheating. There is. You may not take it, but there's a better way. So, she lies and she lies. And then when she tells the truth, he's like, I don't really know if I can believe you. How can I believe you? And she says something, he's like, I just had to get you to admit the second time that I had to pull out the second secret, pretty much, that you just lied to me. You just lied to me and I had to pull it out of you. Are you kidding me? You honestly think I can trust you at this point? Now, Sammy's reasons for why she did what she did. She felt alone, she felt isolated, she felt like dirt throughout the marriage. She sacrificed pretty much everything to be with him, to get him back to the man he was. And, she says all of this, and then she brings out the fact that EJ cheated on her. I'm like, I was like, okay, where's this going to go? I'm a newbie to this show. I've been watching this for like maybe a year and a half, give or take. I have to look at my videos. This is stuff before I started watching this. So, at this point, it's kind of hard to really sit there and kind of like, I guess kind of give my judgment or whatever. But EJ was like, yeah, but that's before we got married. Okay. Granted, I didn't know about the whole cheating thing. Apparently, he cheated first. Or, I don't know. He cheated, and this dude is like, well, it's before we got married. And, I find vows and before God and everything like that all sacred. Are you kidding me? This is like, are you serious? I was like, bro, this is still a good scene. And I'm loving what you're doing to Sammy, just, making her look like an idiot. Because, really, you don't have to try that hard. But the minute that it goes back on you, you just say, well, it's before we got married. Is that an excuse? Is that... Really? Okay. Alright, well, I don't even know what to make of that, but, he's pissed off. She's talking about, we can move past this, we can get past this, that, and the third. At this point, it's, even brings out the letter, the charred up letter. And this is where, getting to this point of watching Sammy just lie and lie and lie, and then only telling the truth when there's literally no other option. I'm just like, as smart as you are, you really look like an absolute idiot throughout this whole scene. And I enjoyed every single minute of it. By the way, I'm pretty sure that she's, this is her last week or whatever, her last hurrah till she maybe, comes back again in the future. I was reading on it online, and also I'm pretty sure that she did an episode with Maurice Bernard, Sonny, on State of Mind, which I actually want to sit there and check that out. Also did one with the woman that plays Sarah Horton. But, yeah, it was just a great scene. I loved every minute of it. And I would be sitting there having, some sort of, snacks or whatever, but it's late. And anything I eat after that is probably just going to keep me up, which is never a good idea since I have to work at the crack of dawn practically. But, I enjoyed that scene so much. That was just like, wow. This one scene just killed everything what GH did throughout their 2-week run. A couple of moments on GH, but the point is, it was great. It was great. Just reminded me why I actually like watching the show a lot. I actually love some of the moments on the show. But, what else we got? Lucas is talking to Philip, and Philip was like, yeah, I already gave that letter to Nicole, And I'm pretty sure she already gave it to EJ as we speak. Now now Lucas is like, are you serious? Because Lucas is like, yo, EJ is going to kill Sammy. Not mentally, not metaphorically. I mean, like, homicide, like, kill. And to be honest, I wouldn't put it past EJ. EJ's the type of person that, yeah, you saw it throughout the scene, he was emotionally hurt. But it's more than that, though. This is about his pride as a DeMero. You know, like, how dare this woman make a fool out of me? You know, I mean, he is arrogant in that sense, in that entitlement. So this wasn't just anger and hurt. And yeah, I felt bad for EJ, to an extent. I felt bad for him because, you know, nearly no one deserves to get cheated on. But he did play a part in that, though. Not just what he did before, but throughout how he treated Sammy. And the fact that he comes back and say, oh, well, everything's forgiven and I'm a lot better, so we could just kind of just go back to the way things were, right? We could just kind of forget all about that. And I'll wait until you're ready for us to kind of, you know, do the wild thing. The Devil's Tango, you know? So yeah, there was a lot of arrogance in him, but I guess in his own right, he felt like, yo, listen, I manned up, I admitted my faults, I bared my soul to you, and you just lied to me this entire time. So, again, I understand where EJ's coming from, even though, you know, he played his part. But, you know, Lucas is like, he's angry at Philip, but he's more worried about Sammy. So he practically runs out of Roman's bar, talks to Nicole. It's like, yo, that letter, you can't give it to EJ. And Nicole's like, I already did it. It's already done. Yep, he knows everything. Lucas is like, EJ's gonna kill her. Nicole kind of brushes it off. She's still mad at Sammy, and I don't blame her. Even though, you know, well, let's be honest, Nicole kind of did that to herself. But the point is, I understand that she's just very flippant about it. She's like, oh, that'll be fine. That's their dance. That's what they do. Now, I think if Nicole, you know, really thought that Sammy might be killed, as much as she doesn't like Sammy, I don't even think that she would do that. But then again, I don't know this woman's past, so I could be totally wrong. But, yeah, so with that being said, he finally goes to EJ's place, and, you know, EJ says something snarky along the lines of, oh, your mistress, yeah, she left or whatever. She's not here. Now, Nicole is practically bearing her soul to Rafe about Eric, the cheating, who she cheated with, how bad she feels, the fact that she feels ashamed, couldn't even tell him. So she's bearing it all. And Rafe is just, you know, at one point, he was like, alright, when he saw Luke, he was like, okay, you cheated with him. He was like, no. She's like, no, I cheated, like, I slept with Xander. And he was like, oh, well, this explains a lot. And it really does when you sit there and think about it, you know, it's like, they explained a lot. So he's like, oh, okay, I understand that. So just as they're talking about it more, Sammy walks in. Well, Sammy knocks on the door. And Nicole's like, yeah, I know who that is. Because Lucas was there, so she already knew who's the next person. Sammy walks in, and Sammy's like, alright, Rafe, we gotta go. Me and the bitch need to have some words. I'm sitting there looking at this. The way she walked in, she was like, me and the bitch needs to actually have some words. I would have been, if I was Rafe, I'm like, yeah, seeing how I'm in the law, I can't just walk away and just hope that everything's going to be fine when I come back, because you look like you're about to kill her. And she already probably went to kill you. So I think I'm just going to just kind of just sit here and just kind of hang out and see what happens. Because I don't imagine Rafe just be like, oh, well, it's girl time, so guess I should just sit there and go. Like, you know those two history, and especially after, you know, the fact that Nicole told Rafe that, you know, she gave the letter to EJ, and EJ knows that Sammy, cheated. So, with any common sense, I'm pretty sure that he should probably not leave or not leave without a fight. But it was going to be interesting either way. Now, on the other side of town, Allie and Claire, after they pulled a little stunt, and, everyone was like, yo, where's Ciara at? He realized, I think Claire was like, oh, well, we couldn't let Ciara go through with this and everything like that and blah, blah, blah. So they practically admit that Ben has her, and at this point, this is just, I'm like, alright, so, are y'all two ready to go to jail? The minute that Lonnie was like, yeah, so pretty much Ben kidnapped Ciara and y'all just aided and abetted. Especially when Theo called Ciara's phone, and Claire had, and Allie had it. She just had that look in her face like, I guess it was me. I'm like, okay. So Lonnie's like, alright, I'm gonna place you on arrest. You're gonna be on arrest. Taking you to jail. And Claire has that look on her face like, what? They both have that look on their face like, well, we can go to jail? I'm like, okay. You two can't be this stupid. I mean, they was genuinely surprised. They had that look in their face like, what? What is jail? So Claire's like, Dad, do something. And Shaw's like, no, she's right. If y'all don't sit there and tell, them where Ciara is, y'all going to jail. And this is after they argue back and forth with Theo and Allie and Claire. There's some talking about they did the right thing, and, we did this to give Ciara and Ben a chance, and yada, yada, yada. So after this is all said and done, because, I'm like, I as sweet and as nice as that is, you two are clearly missing the point of what is going on right now. It just like the... Oh, man. I as good as an imagination as I have, I don't even think I can be that creative. So, somewhere along the lines, Lonnie's like, so are you going to sit there and say something? And, Claire looks at Allie and, one of them says something, I can't remember which one, but one of them's like, listen, if she's not saying anything, then I'm not saying anything. Okay, cool, so y'all both going to jail then. And that's literally what happens. They place her under arrest, and then they both look at each other, like Claire and Allie look at each other like they did some sort of cool and amazing job. And I'm like, Allie, listen, Claire doesn't have a child. You do. Is any of this not starting to like sink in? No? Okay, cool. Man. Lucas is gonna be so pissed. They both get hauled down to the station, and Sean's like, listen, if you don't tell us what we need to know, they're gonna book you. Like, you're gonna actually be facing jail time. Like, is any of this sinking in? They both just kind of stand there, and they're both sitting down, they're just like, look like two completely clueless women. Meanwhile, back at the church, Theo's like, oh, I'm worried, And, Abe is like, well, Ben would never hurt her. He's like, no, I'm worried that she may remember. I don't even know where to begin on just how wrong that sentence is. I'm worried that she might remember. Theo... I don't even know how to even sit there and put this into words. Like, you're worried now. You're about to get married to this woman who doesn't remember her former life, well, doesn't remember loving Ben. She doesn't remember that. And you somehow thought that this was a good idea to get involved with this woman, to spend time with this woman in South Africa. And you decided that you were going to marry her. And just hoping that the other shoe doesn't drop? Now reality is sinking in and you look worried? Okay. I can't make this up. Now, Abe is not there being a good father. He's all like, well, she remembers so far. There's a good chance that she won't remember now. Abe, you know damn well that this is wrong. Okay? Not just is wrong, but this could hurt, this could hurt Theo. And you're just like, nope, I'm just going to stand by him. Even if he fails, I'm going to sit there and stand by him. This isn't one of those things that he's going to fail. This is one of those things that is going to hurt him on the emotional level. And you're just like, nope, I'm just going to sit there and go through this because that's what he needs. No, what he needs is honesty and reality. And what you've been doing so far is placating him. But whatever. And it's odd because this guy seems so like smart and wise and everything, and yet you're basically sitting there telling your son, oh, well, don't worry about that other shoe. There's a good chance it won't drop. Like a really good chance. Now, Ben takes Sierra to the cabin to try to jog her memory. Now, she's fighting him the whole time. Smith is saying, I don't remember this. I can't believe I'm with you. I mean, she was complaining the whole time, and I was just like, okay. Yep, this is, whatever. They get to the cabin, she looks around, and then at some point, she fakes like she remembers. She gets up close to him, and then she pushes him on the ground, and somehow it caused him to hurt his leg. Listen, I fell on the ground plenty of times. I've never, looked like I, hurt my leg. And the way she pushed him was just like, he just plops over. He's like, my leg, it's in pain. And at this point, I'm laughing my ass off because this is hilarious. And see, I was like, yeah, you would make a great actor. And she's all like, yeah, I don't believe you. And, Ben's like, listen, I give up. If you want to leave, you can leave. Do what you got to do. So, Sierra leaves, right? She leaves, she gets in the car. She's like, I'm coming to our wedding or whatever. And I'm sitting there thinking, you've been just annoying the living hell out of me, Sierra. You just from the time that you got back, when you lost your memory, you've just been annoying the living hell out of me. You've said things, done certain things that I would sit there and say, haven't crossed the line. Well, it's just been nauseating. But with that being said, not a malice person. So I knew that she wasn't going to sit there and leave him there with a sprained ankle. Because Sierra was like, oh, well, you have a phone, you could sit there and call for help. What if he doesn't get reception? Screw him? Listen, I get you don't like this guy. He just captured you. I get it. But you're not a malice person. And she does actually come back. And that's pretty much where it leaves off. Let me see if I forgot anything. Now, I think that's pretty much about it. If I missed anything, please, please, please write it down in the comment section below. Just let me know what your thoughts are in general about this whole episode. I definitely enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it more, not just because they were on break and it was, high time for me to, for them to come back because I want to watch it, but just in general, it was a great episode. It's too bad I can't watch B&B, but, the whole CBS thing. But I enjoy Days, and I like the characters. This episode was great. I definitely loved the Sammy and EJ part. That was my favorite part. But yeah, Allison Sweeney, or Alice, when we play Sammy, she's, you know, I think this is probably going to be her last week or whatever. She's going to be going back to making Hallmark movies or whatever she does. I know I'm sitting there talking about Hallmark movies like they suck, because they kind of remind me a little bit of Lifetime movies, but I haven't watched those movies in a while. So if you know a great Hallmark movie or a great Lifetime movie, let me know what it is. And I'll definitely sit there and check it out. And if it's new, I may even do a review on it. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. I know this came out super late, but I appreciate you watching in general. And yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. Have a great day or night depending on when you're watching this. Be safe. I will see you in the next video.